Welcome to another episode. Oh my gosh, it's not framed right. Here we go. Try again. Welcome to another episode of Vibing, where we celebrate, support, and explore local people, breweries, food and beverage brands. We're here with Justin and Wyatt. Wyatt is the brewer here at Pinnacle Brewing.
Yes, sir.
Probably I know I hammer this all the time, but you're probably the youngest brewer in Arizona, at least head brewer.
Definitely down low, yeah.
Yeah. Pinnacle's one of the newer breweries in the state too, right? You guys opened
just had our anniversary in May.
1 year.
Yep.
So you're just over a year old.
Yep. We're still infants, but
yeah. Very cool. Well, and then Justin, what do you do around here?
I'm the OG bartender here, man.
Okay.
So I've done a little bit of the sales and a little bit of assistant brewing with Wyatt too.
Nice.
So.
Very cool. Well, Wyatt, I would love for you to kind of give me a little bit of your history, Pinnacle's history, and how you got to be running your own brewery in Scottsdale.
Yeah, so I started homebrewing when I was 19. I did it just for a summer, decided I really liked it. So I dropped out of school that I was going to at the time. Kind of wanted to change career paths. And so I realized I wasn't 21, so I couldn't get a job yet, even if someone would hire me. And so I was like, shit, I have to wait a couple of years, or I could go to Canada for 2 years, get a degree in it, and then basically I decided to do that. So I was in school for Canada, or in Canada for 2 years.
Where at?
Olds College in Alberta.
Okay.
It's one of 3 accredited programs in Canada. You have ones in British Columbia, and then other ones in Niagara, I believe.
Cool.
I had a brief internship at Pinnacle Brewing in the Central Valley. It was mostly just a grunt, just working off the canning line, cleaning kegs, that kind of thing. After I graduated in 2020, I got a job at Monkless Belgian Ales as a cellarman.
Cool.
So I was there for a year. Decided I wanted to go to Colorado. It was kind of my plan from the get-go, but COVID kind of messed that up. So I basically just took the first job that came my way. Then I found a job in Colorado at Mashed Out Brewing. I was head brewer there for a year, and that's kind of where the wheels started to turn about opening my own spot.
Yeah.
And so we're a family business, so it's my dad, my stepmom, and I. And so he actually approached me because I was unhappy with my job at the time, asked if I was interested in doing, a family-owned brewery in Arizona. And I was, yeah. That would been the dream, have my own brewery. But so that's kind of how we ended up getting here. It took a couple years to just plan this place, build it out. It was vacant for 7 years. It used to be an old gas station. That's why we have that big overhang on the patio. But yeah.
And where you're located, kind of in the Air Park sort of area here, it's a little bit of a desert. I know Oso's Distillery is kind of down the street.
Yep.
Otherwise, there's really the closest thing you got is Phoenix Beer Co.'s restaurant in Scottsdale, and then
they're just down the road. Basically
nothing until you get to Kitsune and
Deer Valley,
the whole Deer Valley area. So what did you guys pick this area because of that?
Yes and no. We were kind of looking all over the valley. We ended up just finding this place, and my folks were living in North Scottsdale, so it was easy to commute. So it was kind of just a coincidence we ended up here, but we were super picky when we were originally looking. Yeah.
And obviously the brew house itself is immaculate. Did you kind of use a layout that you had already kind of experienced, or did you really get nerdy about designing your own layout for the brew house?
A little bit of both. So I've worked on all this equipment in Colorado. That's kind of why we chose it, and we also got a great deal on it from Alpha Brewing Ops. But I kind of just took the things that I liked and didn't like from just experience and kind of applied that to how I built this layout. Super streamlined. It's open. I love it. I don't think I would change anything.
You feel feng shui in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
It definitely makes sense, just the way I laid it out. But
yeah, and so we were talking about this before we started filming. You have a particular style in terms of like the types of beers you're making that I would say is a little different than your kind of typical Arizona craft brewery.
Sure.
So tell me a little bit about like why that was important to you to like kind of, you know, go the direction you've gone in.
To me, it's just having fun, honestly. It's always, it's a win-win if I get to have fun and our customers get to enjoy what they drink. But I've traveled quite a bit in Europe, and I've kind of fallen in love with like traditional lagers, traditional styles of beer. And so I always tell people, like, I want everyone to have at least one thing that they'll enjoy on that tap list, whether it's an IPA, whether it's a lager, whether it's a dark beer, Belgian, whatever. So it's really just about having a diverse tap list, I would say.
So I know your dad, and when you guys first opened, I had a conversation with him, and I was curious if you could tell me the story of like when you came to him and decided you wanted to be a brewer, and didn't he take you on a trip?
Yeah.
So tell me about that, because I think that's a great story.
He was totally supportive of the entire thing of like when I dropped out of school. He actually was a home brewer like way back in the day before I was born, so he was supportive of like the whole home brewing things. Like he let my friends come over who were obviously underage at the time, like drink my home brew, and like it was just a good time. He's always been really supportive. But after I decided that I wanted to take it seriously, go to school for it, he saw that as an excuse to go to Oktoberfest the next year.
He phrased it very differently. He told that story basically saying that, you know, he wanted to give you the experience to see if it's something you really wanted to do. So, he just wanted to go to. I mean, that's fair. My daughter turns 18 the same year that Bein Stefaner turns 1,000. So I will be taking her to Germany.
It's all about excuses.
You know, for cultural experience.
It's educational.
Exactly.
For the kids a little bit. Right?
Yeah. So Justin, tell me a little bit about like how you got here. You were a teacher up until recently, and now you're leaning hard into the beer industry. So
I started off. My undergrad was in wildlife biology. I was trying to get a game and fish job. I wanted to be
you got a mountain man sort of
doing research and everything.
Vibe.
Yeah. So like being outdoors and everything. Graduated 2008. There's no jobs. The jobs that were offered were not something I was gonna like hop onto right away. So I went back to school because my mom says, "Hey, they need teachers, and you have a science background." Wasn't my plan. I did it. I did it for 14 and a half years. I taught everything from chemistry, biology, environmental science, earth and space science, you name it. After COVID, things just started changing, and it wasn't fun anymore.
Sure.
The kids changed, the job changed. So I was on Indeed for the last couple of years, just like looking for things, and the only other thing that I really enjoyed was beer, the industry around it.
Yeah.
And I popped up Pinnacle. I was like, Pinnacle, never heard of this place.
Yeah.
Looked it up, and there wasn't a whole lot of information on it, but I threw my name in the hat and did my interview and talk shop. I did a lot of home brewing too.
Nice.
Kind of what got me into the whole beer scene and everything, and so here I am.
Yeah. So what, as a home brewer, former?
Yeah.
Still?
I mean, still, yeah.
As a home brewer and as a beer guy, what do you think makes Pinnacle like particularly stand out from some of the other breweries?
Totally original. The variety that we have on our tap list just says it all. You know, you walk into it, any brewery, there's always 4 to 5 IPAs, 3 to 4 sours, and then you might have 1 or 2 like takeaways. You walk in here, it's a whole different story.
Yeah.
We got a couple of IPAs, we got a sour, we got to appease the audience, but we have something that you're not going to see at every other brewery.
Yeah.
And that's the best part. It's like we are bringing some culture to the beer, bringing some originality to the beer, and we're just making it better for the people.
That's awesome.
And people recognize it. They're like, you guys are not just an IPA brewery, you have all the styles.
That's great.
You can't go a lot of places and see an ESB on tap.
Yeah.
And we're one of those places, and that feels pretty good, you know?
Yeah. So obviously with where you guys are at, you know, the culture is probably a little different than it is in Central Phoenix or whatever. So what have you guys, and this I guess would be for both of you, what have you noticed in terms of like people coming in, seeing the diverse beer list, tap list, and like, are they Are they like hesitant? Are they excited to explore? Like, tell me a bit about how the community or how the beer community has responded to your style.
I would say for the most part, people get excited about it. Like,
Yeah.
Especially one thing that like comes to mind is like Belgian beers. A lot of breweries don't have any Belgians of any
Right.
kind. We always will have our Seeing Double on tap. Courtier comes and goes. It's our Belgian blonde. We've done a saison, a wit beer before. But like we dabble with pretty much every region's traditional styles.
Yeah.
But I would say the customer like feedback has been really good. I mean, I don't bartend very often, so I don't know exactly. He's probably the better person to ask, but
Well, I mean, as an educator, like I want to educate. I
Yeah.
want people to walk in and ask questions like, "Hey, what is a Maybach?" You know, like
Yeah.
why is it called a Maybach? I'm like, well, it's really simple, and then it's kind of like blows it the proportion. But like, no, I want them to ask questions, and if they
Sure.
order something that they're used to, I always want to be the guy like, "Hey, have you ever had this style?" You know, like, "Hey, I ordered an amber. Well, you ever had an ESB?" Or
Yeah.
they order a wit beer. I was like, "Hey, try a saison." Like it's
Right.
it's light, it's easy, it's a drinkable, crushable beer. Like,
Yeah.
and then sometimes they want to change it up. Some of the IPA drinkers are a little tough, but a lot of people are very open to learning about
Yeah.
new styles, and that's the best part.
That's awesome.
Like, I want to make sure that they know all the styles that are out there, and next time they go to a place, they can say, "Hey, actually,
Yeah.
I've had that before. Let me try that one."
Well, and I think craft beer, the revolution of craft beer started from innovation in flavors and innovation and all that, and maybe over the last 5-ish years, that innovation has like started to like people have gotten complacent, or maybe the breweries have like found their thing and like this is what we want to do, and maybe there's less of that exploration. But I think as a beer drinker, people are still looking for that experience of like trying something they've never tried before. We were just talking about how like we go to bottle shops now and we get less and less. I get less and less enthusiastic of like looking for new stuff, because it just kind of starts feeling like a lot of it is very similar. And so coming to a brewery that's got anywhere from a mangoes and cream sour to a New Zealand IPA to a Japanese rice lager to your Druid Where's My Car English stout, like that's exciting, because if I get a flight, I can get 5
yep.
Get all colors
wildly
of rainbow.
different beers, where you go to a lot of breweries and it's like you get 3 IPAs and 2 lagers, and that's your flight. So that's really cool. You're a little over a year old and you've already won a bunch of awards. So tell me a little bit about what awards you've won and which ones have like stood out to you, and B, like what does that mean to you? Like is it driving you to want to go further? Like just give me an idea of what it feels like.
I mean, I would say my favorite one so far was our first one that we won. That was the Arizona Craft Beer Awards. That was Druid Where's My Car won gold that one. And so that was a really cool feeling. That was
And that was like months after you opened.
That was pretty quick, yeah.
Yeah, that was the first competition we entered into. That was a really cool experience. What else? We've also won a lesser known award. It was like the Ultimate IPA Awards. Our Belgian IPA ended up taking silver in that one. We've won 4 at London Beer Competition. Druid
That's cool.
took silver, and then our Czech Pilsner, Seeing Double, and Surveillance Vision all won bronze there.
So in London.
In London, yeah.
So your English stout from Arizona
Yeah,
won a silver medal
that was a pretty cool
in London. That's so cool. Like
Not a lot of people can say that.
No, that's like, I mean, that's kind of like, for me, I kind of, when Wrenhouse won gold at GABF for their fest beer in September, when everyone's making a fest beer, that's like a crazy competition. Lot of, that's a high bar. So I mean, for you, that's rad. Did you get to go to London for
no,
that?
I wish.
Oh man, next time.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And then most recently we won a couple like Best of the Valley awards.
Yeah.
So that was Surveillance Pigeon, Seeing Double, and Druid. Those all
Coordinated too, right?
recorded in. But we also won Brewery of the Year, which was in our first year, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Did not see that coming. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a testament to what you guys are up to for sure. I remember the first time I came here, I tried your Grodziskie because nobody has a Grodziskie, which is a Polish.
Come here just
Yeah.
to say they
So
want
it's
to try that Grodziskie.
a Polish style smoked lager,
Yep.
right?
It's not technically a lager. It uses more of like a Kolschieß, but
Okay.
yeah,
So smoked ale,
essentially, yeah.
kind of a hybrid.
Yeah.
But I remember very specifically it being like super approachable because smoked beers can be a little bit like licking a barbecue, you know? So like tell me about like how you approached that recipe particularly, and then B, like how are you're very true to style, but you're still making your own beer. Like how do you kind of approach your recipe designs?
Sure. It's honestly pretty simple what I try and do. I mean, I've been to most of the like major beer making countries in Europe. What I try to do is basically deconstruct a beer, the best version of a beer I had somewhere abroad, and then basically, like after deconstructing it, kind of build it back up using the ingredients that I have available to me. That's the general take on like when it comes to recipe construction. For the Grodziskie specifically, I knew that one was gonna like stir the pot a little bit. Just
You just opened with that though. Like that's what I love about it.
That was the second beer we put on tap.
That's incredible.
But yeah, it was more just like I wanted people to I wanted to stand out. I wanted to do something different that not anyone else in Arizona
Make a
is doing.
splash, yeah. You did it.
Appreciate it. But yeah, that was kind of like just have fun with the first couple of recipes that I did.
Yeah.
It was all going to be experimental anyway. I had to brew a couple batches before I actually kind of got my everything dialed in. But
and what made that beer? Why was it so approachable? Like why was it so much less like licking a barbecue?
I would say I've actually never been to Poland, but I've had the style when I was in Czechia, and it was definitely more. The smokiness was more assertive than the one that I did. So usually it's I want to say 75% of it is oak smoked wheat malt. I cut that down to about 25 to 30%.
Okay.
So you still get a lot of that smoke character,
Yeah.
but it's
an overwhelming character profile.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's what made it so approachable.
It was the one beer I had more questions about than anything since I've worked here. I won't lie.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes
everyone
sense.
wants to know where's that smoke flavor come from. They think we have an additive. I was like, no, it's part of the grain. You know, so.
Justin, how involved have you gotten with the brewing?
More recently, since I resigned from teaching, I'm definitely Wyatt's gravity checker now. Learning to definitely been canning since probably as soon as we got the canning up and running.
Yeah.
Kegging beers from the the fermenters and everything, or the bright tanks and everything. So definitely more into that realm.
Yeah.
Definitely just more just eyeballing.
Yeah.
Watching, learning. I know the process.
Sure.
But this is so much more automated.
Yeah.
Little different hookups and
definitely different homebrew.
and the cleaning aspect of it is
Yeah.
probably the more difficult thing to grasp, which sounds ridiculous, but it is the hose to hose connection, going from the hot liquor, which chemicals.
You got the flick down yet?
I haven't got that yet.
You got it. Imagine that. It's one of the first things you got to learn.
It took
the
me-
clamp, the flick with the clamp.
gasket. Yeah, it took me probably 8 months in the industry, in the professional side, to actually get pretty comfortable with it.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm a home brewer too, and but I've also brewed several beers with commercial breweries.
Yeah.
And I mean that switch from 5 gallons on a propane burner in my driveway to 15 barrels,
Yeah.
of
same problem
1,100 pounds of grain, and the whole thing is it's a pretty eye-opening experience. But I've learned something every single time, and my homebrew has continued to improve because of it.
Yeah.
You still homebrewing?
Still home brewing. I mean, a Vorloff here is a lot different than me just opening a valve and pouring into a Pyrex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the same stuck sparges and things like still occur, so I feel a little better about myself.
Are you? What's your homebrew setup look like?
I have I think it's like a brew gear 10-gallon bucket. I have a kegel. I have like a little 5-gallon that I use as my hot.
Are you doing electric or
I'm
propane still?
Old school,
Yeah, same.
Got the old school burner and everything.
Yeah.
So nope, not gonna upgrade.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Still works. It's more
People
fun.
people spend a lot of money on homebrew systems. Just to make the same stuff that you and I make with our propane.
If I brewed more often, totally.
Yeah.
I'd go grandfather or something like that.
Sure.
I don't have time for that.
Yeah, that's fair. Are you still homebrewing? I imagine not.
No,
I've noticed that
I've
when
been
people.
homebrewed since that summer when I was 19. We did when I was in school, we did these really small pilot batches. I mean, small. Not on a homebrew system, but it was 50 liters at a time.
Got
so
it.
we would get to do some really small batch stuff over there, but
You can tell he went to school in Canada because it was liters, 50 liters.
yeah, it was one of the learning curves about going to Canada. Everything was metric.
Yeah.
Everything was Celsius, hectoliters, and it was, I had to
Are you still doing? Did you?
oh god
No, you switched back.
Well, yes, when I was in school, I would just convert it to Fahrenheit just automatically.
Yeah.
Because I knew I probably wasn't going to be staying in Canada, so I wanted to apply it to my profession. Then I would have to do it in
How big's your system here?
All of our tanks are 10 barrels each. So 10 barrel or brew house, 10 barrel fermenters and grates.
Okay. So are you finding that you're good just doing a new batch or a new recipe as a full 10 barrel batch, or is there a way that you're experimenting? Do you have sort of a pilot system set up in some way, or
call it a pilot system? But I have done half batches on beers, especially seasonal beers. So we only did a half batch of the Maibach. We did a half batch of
it's the last keg?
Last keg of it. So drink it while you
Very
can.
much enjoying it. Yeah, it's very delicious.
Yeah, I think we did another. It was more of an experimental beer. It was a Mexican hot chocolate stout.
Ooh.
We did in collaboration with our food truck.
Yeah.
So we did a half batch. So we can do half batches, but if I'm doing the labor, might as well do a full 10. But
yeah. I mean, that's always something I'm curious about with the breweries that have larger, 20, 30 plus barrel systems. Is how are you experimenting? How are you innovating? How are you? But I mean, if you have 10 barrels and you can do a 5-barrel batch, that's less of a risk or less of a rolling of the dice if you're trying something brand new.
You could rotate more often, man.
Yeah. No, that's really cool.
Because people always come in here, they want to, what's new? What's new? That's the first question a lot of the time, at least a lot of the regulars and everything, so.
Very cool. So this Maibach, which we've talked about a couple times, it's like liquid bread, right? Like a liquid cracker. Tell me about the style and why you make it, why you like it.
So we actually opened with another Maibach. I wasn't happy with how he turned out. It was called Ballybach. So it's a completely different recipe. I basically just scrapped it, started from square one. One thing that, especially starting out, coming to Arizona, was the water profile. That was super difficult for me to get used to, coming from Oregon,
Colorado and stuff, where you're
Colorado,
just using groundwater, right?
That you didn't have to filter it, nothing. It was just perfect as is. So I had to adjust the water profile a lot differently than I did the first time.
You have an RO system that you're just adding your own salts to? Yeah.
And so basically,
no other way to
strip everything out, build it back up how you want, depending on the style. But yeah, it was pretty much just all German malts. So a Maibach is a German Bock lager, so it's more malty in flavor. So it uses, rather than just straight Pilsen malt, we use Vienna, Munich. I think we had a little touch of Mellanoid in there. But it's a fun style to brew. I mean,
it's delicious.
I love malty lagers. If I had to pick one subgenre, I would say any malty lager I would be a fan of.
Love that. One of the things that I want to start asking people in these interviews, I didn't do it for the first 4 episodes, but being in the industry now, albeit relatively new, what do you think that the beer industry needs right now? That's a heavy question,
yeah, it's a big one.
What do you think? What do you think would make it better right now?
I would say, I mean, obviously like a bigger audience. I think that, alternative drinks are kind of taking over, like seltzers, that kind of thing.
I think beer school's huge, man.
Yeah.
It's like people just need to like go out and do tastings. They need to try a bunch of different things and not just go to their comfort zone all the time.
Right.
They need to come to a place where somebody's actually passionate about what they're serving and not just pouring a beer.
Yeah.
So I feel like, anybody can hire a bartender, but like a bartender that really enjoys their product and wants to totally change your whole like flavor profile and give you something you haven't had, changes the whole perspective.
Yeah.
So I want that. I want to walk into a place and see a Grudzinski and be like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And ask questions and have that discussion with my bartender.
Totally.
And
well, it's interesting too, because like you think about a product like wine, and it's almost that sort of like curiosity and that like desire to taste is like built into that community, right? Absolutely, it's built into that industry where you go and do a wine tasting. Like you're more likely to go to a wine tasting than just go to a tasting room and get a glass of wine. You can do that at any restaurant. So like if you're interacting with that industry directly, you're going for the purpose of tasting new things. And so, I mean, I think it's great that a lot of breweries have flights, but like we said earlier, like if you don't have a variety of styles, that flight gets less interesting.
It's all yellow.
That's not a bad way to put it, for sure. I mean, I think you're right. A little bit of adventurousness, maybe.
And I think beer festivals really do help out with that. People can go and actually try something totally like off the grid, you know? But I feel like if they come here too, like you get that variety hour too, and not just your 2 samples in your little Dixie cup and call it a day, you know?
Yeah.
So
very cool. Well, I have these rapid fire questions. They're really fun. I think they're fun because I wrote them. So we'll just go down the line. If you want to elaborate, feel free to elaborate. Okay. But here we go. What is, just to start off, what's a weird fact about you, or like a fun thing, that a skill you have, or just a weird fact?
I've traveled to almost 20 countries, mostly in Europe.
That's awesome.
I was a rattlesnake removal expert.
No kidding. With the little hook thing and everything.
I used to do that with my summer job.
2 buckets.
Just 1 bucket.
Just 1 bucket.
1 bucket, pair of tongs.
That's awesome. I love that. Favorite food?
Sushi.
Ooh, didn't even have to think about it.
Oh, dang. Like pizza and wings every day, but my death row meal, chicken fried steak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It's always a silly question to ask people that work at a brewery, but beer, wine, or spirits?
Beer.
And then so what's if you had to pick a favorite beer or favorite style?
Czech lager. Any kind of Czech lager I love.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I like a variety of lagers.
Yeah, okay. Sweet or savory for food?
Savory.
I would agree, savory, not a sweets.
I'm a sweet guy. Your favorite vacation you've ever been on? Other than obviously the exploratory, very educational trip to Europe with your dad.
Well, so
I can't top that one.
Very educational, I'm sure. I'm sure not a lot of egregious amount of drinking involved in that trip.
Of course not. No, my favorite vacation, Prague. Been there twice. Went there with my best friend. It's my favorite city in the world. I love it. I want to go back as soon as I can.
That's a cool place.
I just got back from Seattle. I always say the last vacation's the best vacation. So
I like that. I like that.
That one's taken.
Rain or sunshine? You just went to Seattle, so maybe you like rain.
Rain. I'm a cold weather guy.
Yeah?
I would agree. Like the rain. I've lived here for almost 45 years. I don't see rain.
Your favorite book?
Because he's assuming you read.
Yeah. About that.
I mean, that's fair. Can't think of one. That's totally fine.
Oh, as a kid, younger, it was The Outsiders or Catcher in the Rye.
Okay.
As an adult, I really got into World War Z.
Okay. Right on. I love it. Camping or resort?
I'm a camper. I'm an outdoors guy. That's the beard, man.
Same.
Yeah. Beach or forest?
Forest.
I gotta go forest too.
You have the vibe.
Yeah. Try it.
Jedi or Sith?
Jedi, man. Siths always end up dead somehow.
Fuck with the red lightsabers, I'll go Sith.
There you go. I like it. You're the first one I've asked that question to that said Sith. I respect it. Just hitting my mic. I respect it. Sam or Frodo?
Sam. He carried the team. Like he put the team on his back.
Literally.
Yeah, you're not gonna lie.
I saw something recently that was like, clearly the ring did not understand transitive property because when Sam carried Frodo, it didn't like affect him. So they could have just like made a frog swallow the ring and then carried the frog and it wouldn't have bothered anybody.
Frodo did choke at the end, didn't he?
Yeah, he almost kept it. Yeah, for sure.
Kept it, so.
Superhero you most identify with?
Oh God.
I gotta go Deadpool. I like the sarcasm, man. I'm a dad joke guy, so.
Oh man.
You're not handling this rapid fire very fast.
No, I'm not.
It's okay. They're more deep cutting than you'd think. You know.
I have to pass. Yeah, I think
To pass. Okay.
those are mine.
Fair enough. Spirit animal.
So I studied herpetology, so I gotta go Gila monster. It's
Okay.
the coolest animal in Arizona.
They're
Or
really
in general.
rad for sure.
Penguin, maybe.
There you go. I love that. Go-to coffee shop order.
I mean, I'm pretty basic. I just black iced coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm not a big coffee guy. If I can put Bailey's in it, it's all good.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah, it'll taste fine.
I did an interview with one guy who said 4 shots of espresso.
Good Lord.
Done.
Is he okay?
Yes, he is. He's doing great. Go-to karaoke song.
Oh man.
The best one I ever did, because I don't do karaoke, but I did Offspring Self-Esteem, got the whole bar going.
There you
That
go.
was my one.
Anything from Metallica's Black Album.
Okay. Weirdest food you've ever tried?
Kangaroo.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was
Gamey?
It was
Sounds like it'd be
just
gamey.
pure leather. It was like eating a belt. It was not good.
Fried crickets.
Fried crickets. Same. A historical or fictional character you want to have a beer with?
Dang. That's a loaded one right there. Yeah, I'm stumped on that one, man. Yeah, I gotta pass on that one, man. I got nothing. I'm drawing a total blank.
Tyrion Lannister.
Okay, that's a great answer. That is a great answer. Where's the god of tits and wine? Favorite ice cream flavor? A little easier.
Ooh, pralines and cream guy.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's more of a controversial pick, but that being said, I don't have much of sweet tooth, so I barely ever eat ice cream. But
Fair.
mint chocolate chip.
Mint chocolate chip. Not the only one to choose that. And your favorite TV show?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
I mean, they
Even the
bought
way it
the
ended?
last season.
I was gonna
Game
say,
of Thrones
wow.
minus the last season.
Yeah, yeah.
So, former science teacher, I gotta go Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Just makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. Well, that's it, guys. Good job. You made it through most of those questions.
Yeah.
Well, please tell the camera here about Pinnacle, what you guys are up to. You guys have anything fun coming up? Any releases, events?
We gotta talk about the party.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so, I mean, as far as beers go, they change almost every week. We actually just tapped a new West Coast earlier today. We are having a thank you party for everyone that voted for us for Best of the Valley. So that's July 12th, I believe.
July 12th.
Yep. So come
Got
check us
tattoo
out.
artist
Yeah.
on site too. So that'll
Yeah.
be kind of fun.
A little flash tattoo.
A
That's
little
fun.
flash art, yeah. So,
Be a nice little shindig.
come
Does
get a
does
tattoo.
anybody get a free drink if they tattoo your logo on themselves?
Oh yeah, I think we should.
I think we talked about doing that, yeah.
We should do that.
There was I forget what the year it was, but Domino's offered someone like lifetime free pizza if they tattooed the Domino's logo on themselves.
I'd rather have the Noid and get the Noid tattoo. I might age myself there on that one, huh?
I got to finish with compliments on the Scotch ale because it's delightful. The barrel comes through really nice.
Thank you.
It's bourbon and Scotch beer. That's my favorite things on earth. So,
November to
cheers,
May.
you guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Appreciate
And yeah, come out to July 12th.
So that's 12, yeah.
I'll make sure this comes out before then.
Right on.
Hey,
Cheers, you guys.
cheers.
Cheers.